All right, here we are at the corner of 12th and Constitution, downtown DC. Time for a dirty water hot dog. Nothing in the world is better than a dirty water hot dog. Phenomenal. All right, so is this your hot dog stand?
Yes, sir.
What's your name?
David.
David. Dude, David's out here rocking it out, man. You talk about nostalgia and classics. Here it is right here. These are all Nathan's, huh?
These are actually Sabrett's. We're a Sabret brand.
Yeah? How long you had the stand here?
So, I owned this spot for about 4 years, but we had this spot over 15.
Moneymaker, huh? Yo, people roll in here and they get hot dogs and people get happy. Dude, that's all you need in life right there.
Yeah.
Thanks, David.
No problem, buddy.
Cooking us up an awesome dog. Look at that. Dude, these things are beauties. There's the magic right there.
Mustard.
Dude, David is making life happen right now. So awesome. We're heading into Julia Child's kitchen. This is the most awesome thing. Dude, I've always wanted to do this.
I was just on my own show, Master Chef Series. First of all,
All right, so check this out. This is something I've always wanted to do, is to come check out Julia Child's kitchen. And I'm actually here now. And so I thought it'd be way bigger than it is, but it isn't very massive. I mean, all the education that came out of the entire thing. So let's go and check this thing out, man. When you see the thing, it's almost like every other kitchen you would see in America for the most part. I mean, there's nothing really massive about it, except for this thing was set up, and they went and they filmed in there. I mean, maybe that's what it's all about. I mean, the stories that she would tell, the way that she drew people together. I mean, millions and millions of people got inspiration on how to cook from watching Julia Childs. And this is the kitchen where all that stuff happened. So they just brought cameras into this kitchen. I mean, it's cluttered, it's busy. I mean, it's absolutely out of control. But this is the way she had it set up, 1975. So you're looking at 44 years ago. Julia was in this kitchen throwing down food and making stuff happen. I can't tell you, man, how cool it is to actually finally be here. This stuff is awesome. Yo, there it is, the 1975 edition of The Joy of Cooking. So cool. Julia Childs, that's her book that made her famous. Here it all is, Julia Child's kitchen. Take a look for yourself. So cool. Are you ladies busy? Let me ask you a question, right?
Okay.
You grew up watching Julia Childs?
Yes.
What did it mean to you watching Julia Childs?
A lot. It really did. But we were just talking about. I read her history, and she's a remarkable woman. She was born to a wealthy California family.
Yeah.
She made really good things with her life and a real important part of American history.
But I mean, she had this like huge passion for food or whatnot. And she took that passion, she brought it to the people. She was one of the very first people to get on television and start telling people that you can cook, you can get in the kitchen and cook.
And you could try these things.
Yeah, and you could try it, you could experiment and have fun with it. And like, it just really shaped like America and like how people thought about food. It was just so cool.
Sometimes the hard part too is doing something and being afraid you're going to fail. And you need encouragement. Okay, you might, but you go back and you do.
You just experiment. You just get in the kitchen and you test stuff. I mean, because like it's so amazing to me because I am a chef and I've always wanted to come here, and I live here, but I've never come here, right, to see the kitchen. So now here I am. I come to the kitchen. And I'm like, it's not as big as I thought that it would be. I'm like, it's a very Americanized kitchen. Like they brought cameras in and she just cooked.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, and then you weren't afraid of something. You weren't afraid to try something completely different or kind of sauce and stuff. And I like it. I've always respected her, and I like the wonderful things she did with her life for everybody.
Yeah,
she made a difference.
Yeah, 100% for everybody. So she's like bringing this whole thing where you can cook on your own to everybody. And you know, it's really funny today. Like in 2019, you could go, oh, I'm just going to get in the kitchen and fuss around with some vegetables or some fruit or something like that, and you hope it turns out. And if it doesn't, who cares? Start over, call for a pizza or something like that. You know what I mean? But if it turns out great, if you're making like Julie Childs and her boeuf bourguignon, you know, you kind of realize this really isn't that much than just making some sort of roast with wine.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And so then you start to adapt and you use these techniques, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, everybody's like, oh, your food is so good. And you go, we're just using these basic techniques.
Yeah, and
It's really phenomenal.
Lee and I were talking about
This is really an interesting topic of discussion. What's your name?
Joan.
Joan. So Joan and I are sitting here and we're talking about food. We're right in front of Julie Child's kitchen or whatever. And she talked about putting what on?
Coleslaw on top of you got the meat, put coleslaw on top of that. It's wonderful
Why?
because the coleslaw has a different kind of texture and taste, and it enhances the heaviness of the meat in the little top. And it's just a little party. It's
Right.
a little thing.
I mean, and so people are onto it, and so they're doing it, and they're tasting these things, and they realize it's different, you know. But like, I think the important thing is to bring the history to people of like why it's different. So, coleslaw is a little bit crunchy, and you look for that sort of crunchy flavor, but then it's also creamy, and then that creaminess really accents the meat. So you
Yes.
have this sort of cream flavor and next to the meat, and those flavor receptors are what gets activated.
And the
And
corn
so,
and the tortilla.
yeah, and corn tortillas.
Yes.
What's your ethnicity?
Of Mexican descent.
Mexican. See? Dude, the Mexicans know how to do this. I'm telling you. After spending 5 years in San Antonio, this guy knows. This guy knows. You make your own tortillas?
Oh, no, I could never get it right. When I make my flour tortillas, they're
Listen,
frisbees.
she's Mexican and she said she couldn't get tortillas right. This guy right here knows how to get tortillas right. Because
Oh,
I
dear.
put so much time into trying to perfect a tortilla. The question is always, is it straight corn, straight flour, 50-50, what ratio? That's the magic question. It's so difficult.
Yeah, you're right. There are.
But you gotta do it.
A couple things, and you get one thing wrong, and you've got frisbees or little animals.
But this is what you learn from Julie Childs, right? Who cares? You get in the kitchen, you take a little bit of masa flour, and you're making tortillas, and you do it, and you do it, and you do it, and you do it, in repetition. And the next thing you know, dude, you're the one that everybody goes to because you're making awesome tortillas.
Oh, you make me feel good.
And then she's like, nah, there's a white guy next door, man. The Wedo knows how to make the best tortillas anywhere, man. You got to talk to him. It's true. All right, check out the history of this stuff right here. These guys are doing all kinds of very cool things, man, from fresh to process. And they're talking about this entire production lines process that they had, like, and how things have changed. And so maybe things need to change, or maybe we need to go back to doing things the way that they were. I mean, dude, it's all about life, man. All about the food. And right here is one of the reasons why we had to go to something that was more production capable, because slavery ended. And that was obviously a good thing, but then you had enough people to work the fields. So you have to go to something that's more mechanized. So we started to come up with more machines. It's just the way that it worked. Check this out. The history of the backyard cookout from 1965 through the passage of time all the way until today. You want to see real cookout? I'll cook. Check this out, old grapes, new ferment. And we're talking about the process. Now, this process has been around for fermenting for thousands and thousands of years. So our ancestors knew how to ferment grapes, wheat, barley, rye, I mean, centuries and centuries ago. We're still doing it today, so keeping up the tradition. You guys want to talk about something very cool? Aerosol Cheese, made by Nabisco in 1965. You have all this other cool stuff down here too. Shasta soda. Gatorade, first invented right here, right? 1968. So all these things that we take for granted we still have today, right? They just come in different forms. I mean, they're making money off of this stuff. This is called the Snack Time area in the Smithsonian Natural Museum of American History. So you take a look at all the stuff, and the question is that stuff still out there? Can you still find it? I think you can. Cheese Whiz, dude, who wants to go on a hunt for that and find that in the grocery store, man? That stuff is awesome. California.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
They're from SoCal. Santa Ana area.
Yeah, Santa Ana is really close to Disneyland.
Yeah.
We're here to display outside of like fast food and such. And a lot of the fast food industry and drive-through industry was born and birthed in Southern California. It makes sense because California.
Because Ray Kroc was down there, and he was trying to come up with this concept, and they did the McDonald's thing, and
Yeah.
it was catching on, but it's SoCal.
But part
And
of
more
it is-
people like Jack in the Box started to pop up, and In-N-Out Burger, all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
And so people were like, oh, you can get these hamburgers to go really quick.
Because of the car culture in California.
Yeah.
They built the freeways and transportation system, and the car culture in California was big, so you
Route
ate out of your car.
66.
Yeah, you drove a car through and got your food and everything. So all these companies.
And then everybody goes to Vegas and then parties.
Yeah, so we're going here. All this stuff is our childhood. Yep, we were
Yeah.
there when all this stuff was born.
Yeah, this stuff is great, right?
Yep,
It's
and
such
all
a
those
cool history.
most of the headquarters are still there in Orange County, California.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Let's take a look at all this stuff. Okay, what's your name?
My name's Debbie.
Debbie's going to tell us a story about the In-N-Out Burger. Okay, let's see the In-N-Out Burger logo, right? Because we're all familiar with the In-N-Out logo. So what's the story, Debbie?
Back in the 70s in Southern California, you could buy a bumper sticker that said In-N-Out Burger, and people would cut the ends of it so that it would say.
So they cut the
In-N-Out,
B and the R off of it, and so it would say
In-N-Out
In-N-Out Urge.
and they put that on their Mopar car, usually in the
Yeah.
70s. And you can still see that sticker every once in a while. It's quite worn.
Yeah.
But they finally took it off the market because so many people they just didn't.
In-N-Out Urge is it's like a
They just
bumper
didn't-
sticker for sexuality or something
Yeah.
like that.
Must-
Yeah, it's crazy. That's so funny.
This had he was a Jack in the Box. He popped out.
So we're sitting here and we're chilling in the American History Museum at the Smithsonian, and we're cruising through this stuff that's talking about the history of food. It talks about history of food across America, about snacks, about backyards, about barbecuing, about fermenting, aging, preserving. I mean, everything about food, man. This is just like the craziest thing. Like canning, the industrialization of equipment, and things like that. I mean, this is like the coolest place to be, man. If you're a foodie, man, there's no better place to be than this, man. Because like, this is what draws you in and like brings up some histories like you never even thought about before. And you're seeing some classic stuff here, like cans of Pringles from the 60s and old Gatorade and old soda cans and just all this history and stuff is just so absolutely phenomenal, man. This is the coolest thing.